So expectations, what your prospects should walk away with. So great expectations, right? Our sales agents are notorious for wanting that perfect lead. Right? What does that look like to them, right? Well, in a perfect world, it's a prospect with credit card in hand screaming, just sign me up. Now, the reality of it is prospects, they get called many times a day about many different things, right? They have their guard up all the time, and breaking through that guard with value and specifics will save time and ensure you get paid for your leads. Now, what's the goal? At the end of the day, it's identifying prospects that want a new health insurance quote or new health insurance policy, right? Better to compare pricing or better individualized coverage. Well, with the agent expectations, like a reasonable expectation on their side is that the prospect understands they're getting a health insurance quote. The prospect understands they are talking to a licensed agent that can ask questions regarding this health insurance quote. Right? That the prospect understands they're going to spend time going over health insurance quote options. Now, the prospect may not be a lay down sale, right? They understand that. They understand that not everybody's going to be a pushover and they may have to work for the sales, but it's very, very valid for them to also expect that the prospect is qualified with limited to no pre-existing conditions or a smoker, right? And the customer isn't on a subsidy. That is where we come in. Right? That's where the appointment setter comes in. Some of the tricks, and tips for helping you qualify the appointments, right, is confirming the details at the end of the phone call. That way there's no discrepancy in any of the form fills or any of the information that's set. Also being specific. Don't ever allow them just to be like, hey, let me call me around 10. Okay, so we're going to set an appointment at 10 a.m. tomorrow for our agent to call you. Be specific. Right? Don't assume that they're going to actually show up, and also don't assume any of the details. If they say they're healthy, make sure just to confirm, okay, so you're not on any medications and you don't have any pre-existing conditions, correct? Just saying that they're healthy, and many different people may vary on what their version of healthy is. Also, ask for any clarification from that. If there's any points, it's not uncomfortable, right? If they say, oh, yeah, that's me, right? Yeah, definitely. Right. Okay, so you are on medications? Well, no, I'm not. Okay, so when you do not take any medications then, correct? Yeah, correct. I do not take medications. Okay, ask for clarification on any points, on any qualification points, or on any points that are maybe up in the air and you're questionable about. Also, restating their answers is a great way to make sure that you're confirming the details that they just relayed to you. Additional tips for clarity and rapport. Right? Show empathy, right? That's what acknowledging their reluctance in AMA is all about, right? It's showing empathy and showing relation that you understand their plight, their pain point, what they're going through. The other thing is mirroring the prospect. Mirroring means matching their tone and their voice inflections, right? If they're very loud, then you maybe want to increase your volume as well. But if they're very soft, you don't want to come at them at really loud tone and pitch because you're going to be overbearing and might, be basically intimidating to them, right? Also, asking closed-ended questions are always the best route over any open-ended questions. Open-ended questions allow them to dictate the direction of the conversation, where asking closed-ended questions determines that they have one of two options on their response, which further enables you to push forward in your resolution and your goal of setting the appointment. Also, controlling the tone of the phone call, right? Making sure that you basically don't get, if they're getting very excited about something, if they're getting very kind of combative about something, try and pull that down. Hey, listen, I understand, sir, that you probably weren't sitting there waiting for me on the phone, right, to give you a call about health insurance. I know there's been a lot of changes that could be confusing, trust me, right? Sometimes bringing them down and using your tone and controlling that can help you also control the pitch and the control of the phone call. Right? Also, enunciating your words. Enunciating your words and controlling your tone are going to help you make sure that you give full clarity in what your requests are, the statements, and also confirming any specific details that they might have offered up to you. Some things that we don't want to see on the phone, right? Some very, very, like if your customer is walking away and your prospect is leaving the phone call thinking any of the following, then they have the wrong idea about the phone call, right? If they think they're just getting information, right? Or they're getting an update on any benefits, right? Benefits are things that you have already, service that you've already acquired, right? It's not getting new service or getting new coverage. Anything in association with their employer or professional affiliations. Right? We are not tied in with any specific company or associations or affiliations with any trade unions or organizations. Right? If they think they're just going to be getting sent something out and not a phone call, if they leave that conversation where you've not confirmed, okay, Mr. Prospect, Mrs. Prospect, we're going to be calling you, our licensed health insurance agent, tomorrow at 4 p.m. to discuss your health insurance quote and your options. Do you have any other questions before we talk to you tomorrow? Right? If they're not leaving with complete clarity that they're going to be getting a phone call, then we haven't done our due diligence in making sure and confirming that appointment. At the end of the day, guys, a lot of this stuff is common sense, but we just need to make sure that we are controlling that phone call and we're making sure that we have our structure and that end goal in mind of making sure that we're setting a qualified appointment with a prospect to speak about a health insurance quote. As long as you're doing that at the end of the day, we'll back you all the way to the bank. We'll talk to you later. If you have any questions, send all your responses to Nelson@cg.agency.